Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Captain's Table. I'm your host, Captain B-Nard, and topic of discussion today is going to be Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, a complete review of and reaction to the new games. And here to discuss that with me, making his fourth appearance on the Captain's Table, of course, you know who it is. It is the infamous Joey Fontaine. Welcome back.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And I still surprised you keep track of every time people come on.
Well, I'm a numbers guy, so I keep track of all the numbers. But yes, thanks for being here. Good to have you. Of course, we're going to talk about everything relating to Scarlet and Violet, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, what we wish they do differently, what we're hoping for in the future, and all that good stuff. So, pretty straightforward mission statement here. So I think we're ready to just go ahead and dive right into it. If you don't have anything else to add.
No, I can't wait to dive into it.
All right.
There's a mess. So, I like cleaning them up.
Well, all right, let's get to it then. So, I'll start off. I want to kind of go through it piece by piece to mention kind of like everything. Hit on all the important points of the game and even some of the unimportant points, whatever really stands out to us, and kind of, talk about whether we think they're positive or negative. So, I'll start things. I guess a good place to start off with it is the concept. I think so. This is probably one of the highlights of the game, in my opinion, because I'll just start off by saying I do have mixed feelings about the game, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, I think very highly of the idea of this game, the concept of what they were going for with this game. I am a huge fan of the execution of that concept. There's definitely quite a few problems with it, but um, but as far as the concept of the game being the first mainline, fully open world Pokemon game, I think that's awesome. I think that's long overdue, and that's a great idea for Pokemon. It's a great concept to have all the Pokemon spawn in the overworld only, finally, after all this time, to be able to just go wherever you want and do whatever you want on the map, even within like the story mode, which is something we're going to talk a lot about here in a second. Um, to be able to do all that as freely as you want to do it, like the overall encompassing vision of the game, I think is really really good. But do you like that? Do you think they would have been better served going with a more traditional formula, or what are your thoughts on that?
So, what they did is they got lazy
Okay.
and they copied basically Legend Arceus,
Hmm.
Pokemon doing your stuff. I don't care for the sandwiches though.
Okay. Oh yeah, the sandwich thing. So that.
They copied Legend Arceus because it's the first game that I did okay. I don't think it did that well.
Hmm. Well, I think I mean, so I didn't really play Legends Arceus personally, but I heard a lot of good things about it, and I read a lot of good things about it. So I think Legends Arceus probably didn't have as big of a buy or as big of a sale as like a mainline series game did. I don't think. Don't quote me on that because I am a numbers guy, but that's one number I don't have.
It's Nintendo's fault because they released two games in 1 year.
Yeah, so that's something we're going to get back to as well. Is the problem? I think that's an overall encompassing problem that we're seeing. Is that the a lot of the issues that we have with these games could be solved by longer development cycles. They really could. Like the number one issue.
Remember, what is it, like a couple months ago, Nintendo actually offering money back.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we might as well get the elephant in the room out of the way right away. Rather than focusing on the positives, we'll talk about the negatives because that's what people want to hear anyway. So the elephant in the room is obviously the horrendous graphic glitches that we are experiencing on Scarlet and Violet as of now. And not only that, that would be bad enough. So for example, for those of you who might not be familiar, we're talking about your Pokemon sinking through the ground. We're talking about the characters like bending all weird kinds of ways. We're talking about seeing through the ground. We're talking about all kinds of weird graphics glitches that are just totally unacceptable, in my opinion, for probably the most profitable franchise on the planet right now, which is Pokemon. Or definitely, if not the most profitable, one of the most profitable franchises that's ever existed, right? Is Pokemon. So you'd think they could shell out a couple of bucks to make sure this kind of thing wouldn't happen, right? you know. um, but if that weren't bad enough, we have Game Freak itself saying that they don't see a problem on the game and that they're not going to fix it because according to them there's no problem. So that I don't know what's a bigger problem, the fact that the all these horrendous graphic glitches are in this game or that Nintendo isn't even acknowledging that there is a problem. Like I guess that's the new strategy these days that everybody seems to use is that every time there's a problem they just lie to you and say, "Oh, there's no problem. Everything's fine," you know? Like I think that's totally unacceptable. By the sound of it, I think you would probably agree with me.
Glitches, but I don't know if they're true. Some people do glitches by clicking LZ or whatever the button on your thing,
Okay,
and it helps Pokemon spawn faster to get shinies. Because you turn the camera angle back and forth.
interesting, interesting. I haven't tried that myself. Maybe I will in the future. Although I have encountered one shiny already, which I'm not going to tell you what it is because there's going to be a separate video about that coming out in maybe like a week or two. That you'll see that. Um, But yeah, I know players have been kind of making a meme of it, a game of it, trying to get it to glitch and do weird things. But yeah, no. On a serious note, like it is funny. I agree with you 100%. But at the same time, on a serious note, it is I think totally unacceptable that a franchise with this much money can't put a game out that doesn't have this problem, you know? And I get, and I've said this a million times and I'll say it a million more times, I 100% get it. Nobody buys a Nintendo console or a Nintendo game for its graphics. Nobody does. And if you do, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, but you're an idiot because Nintendo graphics are like PS2 quality graphics at this point,
I just
okay?
said that, but take that from me.
I'm stealing your phrase, but you're absolutely right. It's PS2 quality graphics. You're 100% right. And
Well, I got that from the YouTuber. He was you're making me laugh. Do you heard of Savage?
no, I can't say that I have.
I sent you the link of the video. He's so funny.
Okay.
He talk about Game Freak. He make fun of Velocified.
Gotcha. Well, that's not hard, but we could spend a whole podcast making fun of that guy. But that's we have
I
better.
just sent you his channel, so whenever you have time, watch some videos of his.
Well, I think we have better things to do than I got grinding to
Well,
do, man. I'm making, I'm grinding to make legitimate competitive Pokemon here for Wi-Fi battles, so I can't.
yeah, I don't like the breeding in this game. You have to sit around the picnic, feed your Pokemon that are supposed to be in love with sandwiches, and let them hatch eggs in basket. That's
So
just nasty.
so that's one thing that I don't like. One of the new changes they made to mechanics in this game that I don't like is the breeding. I think that's really stupid the way they changed that, and I don't like it. I understand that they wanted to make it so you could do it wherever you go. I get that, but at the same time, like it wasn't a problem. Like having like one spot that you go to in the game to do the breeding for the last couple generations hasn't been a problem at all because you have fly that you can fly anywhere you want whenever you want. So like it's really not a problem. But I mean in this game you don't even have to wait to do that. You just which is actually a positive I would say about this game is that um flying to wherever you want that you've been whenever you want is a big positive. So I don't think there was any reason for them to make that change with the breeding, but yeah, I agree with you. It's really stupid. I don't like the Pokemon picnic and like the whole the whole thing is dumb. And while we're on the subject of the Pokemon picnic, I will say I have to say I don't know what in the hell is this game's obsession with sandwiches. Like I don't understand like what the fuck? Like come on. Like there's like 10 cafes in every city. Like I understand they're supposed to be in Italy or Europe or whatever, but like come on, like Italy is not just cafes. Like it's not like a billion cafes. Like maybe I don't know. I haven't been to Italy, so maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just cafes and rivers and old architecture. I don't know. Um but yeah, it's really stupid.
New York City before that hasn't been done yet.
Uh
Is there
I
any game from New York?
I think it wasn't Generation 5 based on America, I think it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants there, but we don't see that in that Gen 5 game. They kind
Right.
of downgraded that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I think
You don't see buildings.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of annoying, and so another little thing that I want to bring up while we're on the subject of that is, and I don't know how I feel about this. I will chalk it up to laziness though. Is that you know how like there's no insides of buildings anymore? Like you go into like the shops or the whatever, and it's just like you walk through the door and it cuts to like a blue screen, and it's like they didn't even bother to like animate the insides of the buildings, and you know what? That's lazy, but I'm willing to give them a pass on that because they at the same time they've built like a fully open world for you to explore. So like the inside of the building isn't really that important,
Um,
you
al-
know?
Also, some buildings are just there that you can't even walk in. It's you can't you walk into the wall basically,
Yeah,
even
and
with the doors.
yeah, and to be honest with you, I actually like that because I found it so annoying in the old Pokemon games how you could go in everybody's house and like there was nothing there for you. It was just a complete waste of time, but you didn't know that there was nothing there, so you had to go look, because there could be like a TM or an item or something laying there. So,
Well, I
yeah.
don't mind doing that because sometimes they have items to give you, and then sometimes items in the trash that you can't
Yes.
see.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean getting free items is good. I'm just saying like it's to me it felt like a waste of time to have to do that all the time. So I don't mind.
Also, Nintendo got in trouble because it basically a kids game that most people attend, but everyone play it,
Yeah, of
and not
course.
only that you can just you're a stranger and walk into people's house, and most of the games are you move from a different country or whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah, you're like
you
the
walk
new
into a
kid.
very house and it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, no, I have thought of that myself, and I do agree with you on that. It is weird to just walk into people's houses and stuff. So that's so. Long story short, I think not having or not being able to do that in this game is actually kind of a plus, personally. Um, but
That's good.
yeah, so I give them a pass on that. But yeah, another little thing, and I kind of like it actually, like the way they did the Pokemon centers in this game, how it's kind of like outside, and it's just like it's like a freaking taco stand essentially. I I kind of like
The
that.
thing is thank God it's just a game, but if you put it out in real life and you in the desert, you're gonna be hot.
Oh,
There's no
that would
there's no
suck.
like fences or anything or like glass to keep it. At least it's a game.
Now that's how
And
what
even
I had the
feeling it.
you know what I had the exact same thought when I saw that, and I think that's how you know that we're too old to be playing this game. To be honest with you, if that's what you think, it's like, oh man, like that Pokemon Center is completely exposed. Like, what about the sandstorms and the wind and the rain and the snow? And it's like it's gonna be uncomfortable. Like, so
Well, it has rain protection, but it doesn't have sandstorm flowing into the face.
yeah, exactly. So I did have that a similar thought there, but it is very convenient, I'll say, and it makes the game convenient, and that's going to be a plus that I think is convenience in this game, and not just in that form, but also in the form of all the items and stuff that they brought back with the quality of life stuff. I like
Well, they shouldn't take them away in the begin with. I don't know why they took away.
in Diamond and Pearl, you mean in the remakes?
Yeah, I wish they have the items.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was not just the battle items, but like the XP candies and the you can buy the ability capsules and the mints and all that stuff. And the fact,
Yikes!
what's that?
And they cost a lot of money.
You're right. They do cost a lot of money, but they are still there. And also the fact that you don't have to be a level 100 to hyper train anymore. That's pretty helpful. You know.
Upgrade. That's actually better.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are a lot of those quality of life mechanics. They've brought those back and then even added some, which I think is good. Um,
They were genning the Pokemon. They should really change the breeding. I don't like that.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I'm not a fan of the breeding, the way they did that. Definitely. So,
I'm gonna
um,
miss running around, well, driving around or running around, and hatch my eggs with my flame body mon.
yeah, exactly. I did like that. That's fine by me.
And since it's open road, you can go to a long route.
Yeah, that's the infamous long ass route in the middle of the map on Diamond and Pearl. Yeah, that's the,
Oh,
The
Yeah,
straight line by the daycare. You know what I'm talking about. The straight
yeah,
line.
I do. I go straight long. I do like an L. I go out the way to the tall grass and with my bike. Well, I stop in front, then go back to the and go back and forwards.
Yep, yep. I did the same thing. So, um,
So,
but yeah. So,
there's something I need to get off my chest.
sure. Go
It
ahead.
the game force your Switch to restart. That is a big issue.
Oh, it has does it? I haven't seen that.
You lucky.
Yeah.
It happened to Shofu so many times he got mad. He made a funny video about it.
Oh, really? Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I gotta say, and
It
maybe
force shut down your Switch.
yeah, I've never had that happen to me, so I guess I should knock on wood because a lot of the really bad graphics glitches that people are talking about, I haven't personally experienced. The most common one that I've experienced has been the falling through the looking through the ground and the sinking through the ground, and the a couple times the my game froze at the end of a terror raid, and
Sorry.
I had to restart. So that's happened to me exactly twice, and I've probably been playing.
Just before I was doing some leveling up my Pokemon, and I said, you know how you can send your Pokemon out to fight?
Yeah,
My Pokemon attack Pokemon through the wall. I don't know what it was.
yeah, that's something else that I've seen and that we didn't mention before is the Pokemon in the walls. Yeah, that's another awful graphics glitch there. Um, so yeah, no, that's definitely the biggest issue with the game. I think is that, and it's like again, I said it's totally unacceptable, and I do believe that. But yeah, so on a more positive note, though, I want to say a big thing. I know that's the big thing that stood out to you that we've been talking about here. Um, One big thing, and this is just after being fresh off playing the game, obviously, one big thing that stands out to me is actually the story mode. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I actually did
Mhm.
like the way that they did the story mode a lot in this game, although I didn't like every component of the story. Um, but I'll explain that in a second. So I really like the fact that you could go wherever you want and do whatever you want at any point in the game. Like you can just walk to any gym, you could walk to any um, base, any Titan, any point of interest on the map whenever you wanted. Now, sure, there were some limitations, like with if you couldn't swim yet, then you couldn't get to some place or another place, or if you couldn't climb walls yet, you
Well,
couldn't.
there's good news about that. People found the water and they went to the place they need to go to.
Yeah, I don't know. One thing I'll tell you about that. One of the endlessly funny things that I find is that when you wade into like waist deep water, it automatically like resets you and takes you out. But you can like fall like 1,000 feet off a cliff and then you're fine. It's like what? Because the Rotom phone just catches you, you know. So
Yeah, probably. I don't know how a ghost type catch you, but
yes,
never happened.
that's a good point actually. But yeah, no, I really like the way they did the story with the three paths. I like that. The whole concept of like you're going to Pokemon Academy and all that kind of stuff. I did actually kind of like that. The way that they put the whole concept of the story together, I really like that. Um, I like how um, you get to choose what to do again in any order you want to do it. For the most part, I really like that. Um, the one negative though I will say about that, and this is just a customization. Speaking of the academy, how you can't take your academy uniform off at any point and get like different clothes for like shirt and pants. Like they have different seasonal uniforms which you can switch in and out of, but you don't get like black pants or like jeans or anything that you can put on. Which
I wish you could be able to change your clothes even when you're done to school and become champion at least.
oh yeah, I think you should because it's like how are you like yeah, it's like how are you the champion? It's like you got to keep these stupid fucking clown pants on still. I hate the clown pants, man. Like the shirt I could deal with. The shirt I could deal with. They're clown pants. That's what they are. Like these awful like orange. I got Scarlet, but the awful like orange pants with the pinstripe. Like oh my god, that's ugly. Like the violet pants are a little bit better at least.
Do you ever go to school and you have to wear a uniform?
No, I didn't. Back when I was going to school, there were no uniforms, which again is probably
Yeah,
another indication we're too
I
old
used
to
to
be
be in
playing
private
Pokemon.
school.
But what's that?
I used to be in private school.
Did you? Okay.
There's a black and white uniform that you have to wear.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, when you're going through the game, I could understand not changing your clothes, but like post game, I think that's stupid. But yeah, that's I guess that's a
They want to make it an open world, but you have to wear your clothes for the whole what? Just for example,
you
a
have
hundred hours.
you have to
That's just nasty.
yeah you have to be repping that university all everywhere you go apparently. Um, but
It's marketing. They want to get you.
yeah, so but you know that's a minor thing in the grand scheme. Like you still have other customization options with like the hats and gloves and sunglasses and whatever, which is okay. The backpacks, that kind of thing. So I guess it's a minor thing in the grand scheme of things, but it's still something that I'm disappointed that you can't at least change the clothes to a greater extent. But back to the story mode. Um, so the Pokemon League story mode I think was really good of the three paths. I like that one a lot. Um, I have to just get this off my chest right now. Um, Larry is the greatest character that Pokemon has ever invented. Period. There's no discussion needed about that. I just want you all to know that. Um, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. So like the idea like so I have mixed feelings about the characters in this game. So the important characters, so like your rival like Nimona, which if you guys haven't realized this is actually an omen spelled backwards, which I thought was kind of eerie. Um, my girlfriend actually noticed that and pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Wow, you're right. That's crazy." But Nimona is an omen backwards. Crazy. Um, but anyway, so I thought she was actually an interesting rival slash champion character because it was like it's something they've never done before, which makes sense, but at the same time, which is neat. But at the same,
In old games, your rival become the champion. You have to face them.
well, it's kind of like they do it alongside you, but in this game it was a little different because like she was like already the champion and you didn't really know it kind of I mean they kind of alluded to
Um,
it like that. So the way they play it off in the game to my recollection is that they kind of make it like, oh well, she's a champion ranked trainer, and they kind of make it sound like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of champion ranked trainers, but then when you beat the league it's like, oh yeah, no, there's nobody, it's just her. And then so I feel like it's a little
I mean,
it it's a little anticlimactic at the end because like you've already kicked her ass like a half a dozen times, but
yeah,
still interesting.
they could get a better champion. Come on now.
Well, Gita, so I have like I think like I said I have a lot of mixed feelings about a lot of the characters. So there are some. I mean, there are some, and by some I mean exactly one legendary best.
Excuse me, I'm doing a podcast. You're being recorded. Your voice.
Uh oh, sounds like Trouble in
Right.
Paradise. Um,
Yes, it's Trouble in Paradise.
fair enough. So
We can
that's all good. So there are certain characters, and by the certain characters I mean one character, i.e., Larry, who's the greatest character Pokemon's ever invented. Then there are like a lot of characters that are like, they're pretty okay, like they're not great, but they're not terrible. So like I think most actually I'd say most of the characters fall into this. So like Nimona, I'd say she's not great, but she's not terrible. Penny, same thing. Arvin, same thing, actually. So, um, like a lot of the gym leaders, I would classify as this too. Most of them, actually, except for the
the gym leader is actually one of the elite four members. They couldn't find anybody else to fit the shoes.
Larry. It's Larry, Joey. I've been talking about Larry this whole time. Show him some respect, God damn it. This is Larry.
Okay, you look them.
Uh,
I leave it at that.
Larry is the greatest character Pokemon's ever invented because it's like he's just a 9 to 5 working man showing up to the office. The boss is busting his hump because he's got to get these Pokemon battles done. and like he's showing up in his suit and tie with his briefcase, and it's fucking incredible. And then it's like, you go to the Elite Four, and he fucking walks out, and it's like, yeah, the boss is making me work a double today, so now I'm a gym leader and an Elite Four. Like, I don't even care that they're doubling up, that they did that. I don't even care that it was lazy that they didn't want to make another character. It's fucking brilliant. It fits the character so well. Like, oh my god, it's just perfect. It's so perfect.
Okay,
Larry is the greatest character Pokemon's ever created. I can't say enough good things about that. Um
all right.
but
What
the
about not able to re-challenge the Elite Four?
what about the Elite Four now?
You cannot re-challenge them. Once you beat them, and you cannot re-challenge them unless they're inside the league and
Tournament.
the school.
Yeah, that's a little strange, I thought, but it is what it is. So I'd say of the all the Elite Four and the gym leaders, like, so the little girl who's in the Elite Four, I thought that was kind of stupid, to be honest with you, because it's like, okay, I would almost accept it if they had like a kid who was a gym leader, but like the idea in the Pokemon world is that the Elite Four are supposed to be the most like tried and true, like grizzled, like battle tested veterans of the Pokemon world, and then it's like some fucking 5-year-old kid, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, I thought that was really stupid, so I didn't like that. But
You know how she got her Pokemon license? She looked like she's 5, not 10.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
usually, if you follow any Pokemon, most people are 10.
yeah, that is the
Even in your game, you want to it's supposed to be 10, but you stay 10 because well, you stay whatever age you want to be.
Yeah,
Haha.
it's Ash syndrome, as everybody is 10 years old forever. So, but but yeah. So
So I don't know how she became the Elite Four. Maybe she knows somebody. Or they lost
apparently,
to
I don't know. Apparently, but I thought that was dumb. The only gym leader that I really didn't like, I have to say, is the bitch who is the psychic gym leader, who's like a social media influencer or whatever. I'm just like, it's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, that's so stupid. Like, and but everybody else, even like I thought that they had too much of a focus on food and art, even though, like, yes, it's Italy, I get it. I'm Italian, actually, so I understand like Italian culture. Yes, there's a lot of food. Yes, there's a lot of art. I get that, but like, you don't have to keep beating us over the head with it, like repeatedly. Like, it's food. Like, there were two gym leaders that were like cooks, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then there's a gym leader and an Elite Four member who are artists, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, stop repeating yourself. Like, oh my
That's
god.
probably
Go ahead. Sorry.
they probably got lazy over that.
Yeah, there's so many things in this game that just seem like just lazy. Like, that's the thing, and we're going to talk about it later when we get to new Pokemon designs too, but like, character-wise, since we're talking about the story, like there's so many repeats of things, and like I said, the one exception to this that I not only don't mind, but I think it's the greatest thing ever, is Larry. But other than Larry, it's like, again, you have like double up of all these things, and so I don't know. But you know what, all in all, like, I can't complain too much, because most of the characters were pretty decent. I think director Clavel, I thought, was kind of funny, because as when they used him for a comic relief in the Team Star storyline, I thought that was fine, although the Team Star storyline generally, I think, was shitty. um,
Well, because people who fail the challenges basically.
okay, so here's what I don't get about the Team Star storyline.
Oh, we're
So
going to that now.
yeah, we'll go to. So I think that wraps up like the Pokemon League part of it, but overall, I was pretty positive on that. Um, the Team Star storyline, I think, was pretty shitty overall, and here's why. It makes no fucking sense. Like, if you actually think about the storyline, it makes no sense. So when you start off, they tell you that, like, oh, Team Star are like the school bullies, essentially, right? And so, like, they're like walking around, like, picking on people, like pressuring them to join, the club or whatever. Fine, that's basic enough. That's normal enough for the villainous team of the game, right? But then they turned it into, like, oh, well, Team Star, they have the Team Star bosses, and it's like, oh, well, Team Star they're not actually bullies. They were actually formed as like anti-bullies, and like because they were bullied. And then it's like, okay, so then the logical question becomes, where are their bullies? And then it's like, oh well, they're just gone, they just disappeared. It's like, so you have like this idea where there's like these faceless bullies that like picked on the Team Star people, and then they decided for whatever reason to form a club and put some ridiculous outfits on. And because that's, if you want to get somebody to stop making fun of you kids, here's a great life hack: put a really stupid outfit on, and that'll get people to stop making fun of you for sure. So if you're like dressing like some fucking hooker boots and dye your hair red, or like fucking put like some ninja outfit on, or fucking put like a fucking pink suit on, or like paint your face. Or actually, the funny thing is, there's the first guy, the dark Team Star Dark base leader, who's like
Yeah.
actually wearing normal clothes. And every time they do a Team Star cutscene, it's so funny to me because you have like these other four characters who are in like these ridiculous get-ups, and then you have this guy in just like a hat and t-shirt and like hoodie and jeans. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Like, so, and he's got like his beats on too. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Um, so, but yeah, I thought that was all so ridiculous. But yeah, so then it's like, you have Director Clavel undercover, which is, good comic relief. I like that. And every time you see him, you're like, oh, is
They
that
did
you?
pretty good, though. He did pretty good on the cover.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
You couldn't even tell it was him. So no, but yeah, that was comic relief. But and then so, but like the whole idea of the story, or the way the storyline unfolds, is just so nonsensical. Like, so it's like, and I get why they did it that way, and that's kind of also what bothers me about it, is I understand why they did it, which is a stupid reason. So in my opinion, I think they did it because they were like, oh well, we can't have anybody be a bad guy in this day and age, because like, oh, it's 2022 and nobody's bad anymore. Everybody's just, misunderstood. And like, so they didn't want to like actually have a real villain. So it was like they come up with like this bullshit way of like making it so, oh, you thought these guys were the villains, but they're actually not. They're just victims of who? Oh, well, the victims of nobody, because the other people aren't there. And it's like, what the fuck, like, it's just,
And they do the same thing as in what is it? With the other team.
what do you mean? Which team?
Yeah, there's too many. The what is it? The-
Which generation are
Team
you thinking of?
Scold. No, Team Scold as well.
Well,
Remember they
Team Skull
they
were, well, okay, that was a little different, I think, because Team Skull were legitimate bad guys, and then they kind of like reformed their ways at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like the
yeah they couldn't complete the challenges just like in Team Star, but they get bullied. They left the school. It's
yeah,
almost the same concept.
yeah. I
And
didn't think of that before, but you're actually right.
features.
Yeah, I didn't think of that before, but you're actually onto something there. I think you're right. It is kind of a rehash of the Team Skull, except for it's worse because at least in the Team Skull case, they were teams. So Team Skull, I think, was the most entertaining villainous team outside of the original Jesse James Team Rocket that we ever got, and I love them
Yeah.
for that. I actually love Team Skull, and the big difference between Team Skull and Team Star, I think, is that the story was told like the Team Star storyline is a ripoff of the Skull storyline. I think you're right about that. But the Team Skull story, they told it so much better, and they were outright like with your boy Guzma, yeah, the leader of Team Skull, your boy Guzma. Um, it was like, okay, yeah, he was a bad guy. He was 100% a bad guy in that game, and then,
Yes, better.
but then you could follow his journey kind of, and by the end of the game, he was like, oh, maybe I'm done being a bad guy, and I'm gonna, be, try to like maybe do my challenges and like, get my life together and shit, and like you
He
could
actually changed at the end of the game. That's actually amazing.
that's a good story. Yeah, that's a good story. Not the fucking with the team Star, it's just like, oh, we were never bad guys. We just like we're anti bullies, but like there is no bully, and like
Oh, and Sword and Shield is the worst bad guys in history. I'm sorry,
Team
the worst.
Flare or Team Yell were, oh my god, Team Yell were
It's
fucking
giving me a headache.
awful.
It's
Yeah, I hated Team Yell too. I think they were awful. But
also, if you can match up Team Star though, they became mad because they failed the everyone's failing something. Jeez, and they become a bad guy. That's very short temper.
yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say. I guess that's just failure breeds villains. I guess, which is kind of a true thing if you think about not only just games and movies and make believe, but real life too. Um, but nonetheless, so yeah, I really did. And then like the quote unquote swerve with like Penny being like the leader at the end. It was like, okay, who didn't see that coming a mile away? You know what I mean? It's like,
She
oh,
always knows so fast.
what's
She
that?
always did every when you finish the battles. Somehow she's sneak up behind us.
Yeah, it's like she just magically appears after everyone, and it's like, it's so obvious. But like, I don't know. I actually kind of liked her as a character, but like, I just like the whole Team Star storyline was just so nonsensical and stupid. But I think we spent enough time.
Do you saw why she did it?
Yeah, yeah, she did it because like, oh, where she like, yeah, well, her motives for disbanding Team Star, it's like that's also stupid because it's like, I don't know. It's so the story that we're supposed to believe is like, okay, the five Team Star bosses got a bad rap for doing nothing essentially for defending themselves, so they got a bad rap, and then they disappeared, and then like the lower members of Team Star just started like being jerks for no reason, and it's like then she decided because like the Team Star grunts at school are being jerks that it's time to like crack down on her friends for no reason who she just abandoned for no reason. Like it's all so stupid. Like so then she hires you as you're basically like a hired mercenary essentially to like take them out even though that we're supposed to believe they're not doing anything wrong, but like it's all just so stupid and it makes no
You
sense.
know, she asked you to become the bad guy, basically.
Yeah, so it's like
She asked you to basically bully them and beat down the Pokemon.
yeah, exactly. It's like she asks you like so if they're
It's counterproductive. Come on now. They can't get a
yeah.
better.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like now if you think about it that way, you're right. It's like so doesn't that make you the bad guy then cuz like they're not the bad guys. You're going in there like picking on them, beating them down like you said like you're a fucking hired gun essentially. So like you're the bad. Like so what the fuck? Like it's just that's
Also, this game does every movie does
yeah.
gender swap.
Yeah.
Like almost every bad guy is a bad guy, not a bad woman.
Sure. Yeah. So
They did it. They did like almost every movie a gender swap.
yeah, I don't know, man. I just it's a really bad storyline. That's all I'm gonna say. Is just I think we've wasted enough time on this, but
Do you want to move on to a different topic then?
yeah, yeah, no, I think we've said enough about the Team Star storyline, but it's really stupid. So, but the last
I think
storyline,
you're kidding. I want her backpack in real life. The EV backpack look amazing.
oh yeah, so that's another question I have. Why does Penny get to wear whatever she wants to school, and I have to wear these goddamn clown pants? Like that's what I want to know. Like why does she get to wear black jeans and an Eevee sweater, and I have to wear these clown pants, these orange pinstripe clown pants?
But she left. Oh no, she was in disguise. I don't know. She was just appearing out of nowhere, being off screen,
I don't
then
know.
coming in and reappearing on screen.
I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. So that's that. I didn't like that storyline. Like I said, I thought it made
Well,
no
you know,
sense.
maybe we get an update and we can able to buy her clothes.
Maybe we'll see. Um, but the last storyline I want to that there was the Titan storyline with Arvin, and so I actually thought at by the time this storyline was over, I actually really liked it, and here's why. Because in the beginning of the game, when you meet this Arvin guy, this like weirdo with like this weird haircut and like he's a douchebag, and I'm like, this guy sucks. Like, fuck him. I don't want to have anything to do with him, you know? and then you go through the storyline with him and you find out like his mom or dad, depending on whatever version of the game you get, spoiler alert, is dead and or a robot, depending, or both, kind of. And like his only friend growing up was his dog, and his dog got mortally wounded, and now he wants to collect the herbs to like heal it. And like you have to collect the herbs to heal Coradon, because or Muradon, depending on which game you got, again the legendary, um
Yeah.
because that got mortally wounded. And like, so by the end of the storyline, I'm like, he's still kind of a dick, but like, I feel for him, because he's gone through some shit. And like, you kind of like become friends with him, and you can feel that whole process going through the story and that whole process. And so I thought that that storyline, the Titans one, even though it was relatively brief and simplistic compared to the other two, I thought that was actually really well done, to be honest with you, because it gives you a character, and it makes them, turns them compelling over time, and it worked really well, I think, I have to say. So even
Being alone walk is when you give the sandwich away and he complains.
yeah, that's again, that feeds to him being a dick. But then, like, again, as time goes on, he's like, oh, this time he's like, the first time he acts like a real dick about it, and then like the next time he's like, oh, whatever, and then the next time he's like, I made an extra one for you, buddy, or I made an extra one begrudgingly, and then by the end he's like, oh, here you go, I made you an extra one. So like that is character development, that is storytelling, that's
I like it.
progression, like that's how you tell an interesting story, not like this absolute nonsense of the fucking Team Star, like nothing makes any sense. But fucking, so the Titan storyline, like I said, while it was kind of
I like it.
brief, I liked it. Yeah, I did. And I really liked at the end how they tied everything together with like the area 0 and the crater and the, either the past or future form Pokemon, depending on your perspective. I really like how they did all that. I thought it was kind of crazy for a Pokemon game, and I really did like all that stuff at the end a lot. So, um, yeah, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say as far as the like the story mode goes. Was there anything else?
The Titans is fun.
What's that?
I enjoyed battling the Titans. It was cool. Change of pace.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting the way that the Titan battles were interesting, and it was definitely a nice change of pace for sure. I agree. Um, so um I like how at the end, again with with tying everything together with the Area 0 story at the end, and you go through with everybody, and you kind of like you get the sensation that like progression is made, like, and that the story moves along, like, so in the old Pokemon games, or the older Pokemon games, it always felt like no matter what you did or how far you progressed in the story to a point, like everything kind of stayed the same. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
especially how, and this is a big one, like post game, how like like in the older Pokemon games, you're still like a challenger even though you're the league champion technically. Whereas I know they fixed that in the last couple games, but um, in this game they do kind of the same thing, and then they do like the post game where you get to beat all the gym leaders, and you do like that school tournament and everything. But um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think all that was all, all in all, I think all that is very well done. I thought, I did kind of think like the robot professor thing was kind of weird though, as far as if we're talking about the Area 0 like post game story. Like, I did like everything, how they tied everything together and brought everybody together and did that, but I did think it was kind of strange, the way they played that off. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. It wasn't something I was expecting from a Pokemon game. Um, so yeah, I really did enjoy it. Um, but yeah, I don't think.
So,
Go ahead.
being it's funny, what's doing. Do you know how there is a small walkway to go to ground zero?
Yes,
Uh, and I saw it from the mountains. So it before I even beat the Elite Four, I was trying to get to the platform,
yes, I
and
did.
there because it just become nothing. You don't go. You just fall somehow and then come back up.
Yes, I was just gonna say I did the same thing because I was like, what? By the time I was getting to the Elite Four, I was like, oh, I wonder if I can get in here, and I'm sure I'm not supposed to get in here, but of course you can, and then you jump into like the fucking bottomless pit, and then it just resets you. So,
And
um,
somehow you still survive.
yeah. So,
So what I did is I jump off mountains basically and
yeah.
glide.
So,
And then I jump off two mountains on the side because you can actually grip on it. You couldn't. I couldn't have gripping. So I was sliding, then I jump off, and then I glide again.
yep, yep. So that's
That
actually
was I did that for all nothing. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me?
so that's a big thing that I like about the game actually is the ability like when you get to a mountaintop for example and you jump off and you glide like just the visual spectacle of like you being able to do that in a Pokemon game and you can like look over the terrain and the whole map and like I think that's really cool. Like again, it would be a way better without the graphics glitches, but again, just the concept of being able to do that is really cool. Um, I like how while we're on that subject, I'll say I really did like how the map was put together. Like how they designed this map and this region.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the DLC, by the way, there's gonna be a DLC.
okay, I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I
You
kind of
can open if you see the map, there's actually black areas that you can't go in or go near.
yes, there are toward some of the edges of the map. There are some darkened out areas. Yes, so um, I do agree. I think a DLC is probably inevitable, but we'll probably talk about that a little bit more later. Um,
All right.
but yeah, once we get to like the looking forward part of it at the end, but yeah, I think that I do like the map though. I do like it a lot. The way that it, everything, just the way the mountains and the plains and the water, the snow, the everything. I just really like it. Which again just makes it more painful that they have these awful graphics glitches. Um, but when the graphics aren't glitching out, they're actually not bad. And it's like it's very cool to be able to do that, like jump off the mountaintop and glide down and go wherever you want. Um, I think that's all
I miss
really
like
cool.
getting off a software. You can just fly across the place easy.
Yeah, that was really cool. I almost forgot about that actually, but that was
That was
really cool.
I think that the best, and you can just fly around the map and battle Pokemon in the air.
Yes, that was cool. That was very cool. I agree with you. That was very cool. Um,
The graphics actually was better. That's the old system. That's
yes,
funny.
back in the DS days. Um, but yeah, I like that. Another little thing that I want to just bring up before I forget it is I did actually like the music on this game a lot, and I know I say
People
that.
didn't like the music either.
What's that?
A lot of people didn't like the music because it's like I think sometimes it's too low or just too boring.
I don't know. I liked it actually. That's what I'm saying. Is I actually liked the music on this game.
Take them away.
Yeah, and I know. I especially like certain battle themes. I really liked a lot. Um, So I don't know. I think it worked for me. I think I say that about most Pokemon games. Is usually they have a like the all the recent ones anyway. They feel like they do a good job of having the music to fit the moment or the mood. And sure, like not everything is going to be real upbeat, obviously. But yeah, I did like that. Um, so yeah, I think that covers that pretty well. Um,
Topic.
yeah, do you have something you want to throw out?
No, well, I find the music was well, me, I wasn't really focused on the music. I was more focused on how to get to the gyms.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I wasn't really listening to the music just there, and I was just grinding up my Pokemon because sometimes the gyms are too strong.
Yeah.
Because you battle them at random.
Yeah.
Like the when you battle the first team star,
hmm
the Pokemon is very high level.
Yes. Well,
Oh,
there are helpful guides to all that.
the motorcycle Pokemon.
Oh, Cyclizar.
Oh, no, the one you love saying, the motorcycle.
Oh, Reveru or no, fucking what is it? Miraidon and Koraidon. Yeah, the one you get. So actually, while we're on that subject, I'll say, and this is another little thing, I actually liked the way that they incorporated the legendary in this game because I feel like in most, like in your traditional Pokemon games, right, you don't really have a lot of interaction with the legendaries all in all. It's like the formula is like, oh, you see the legendary in the beginning and then you see it again and then you see it again and then when you finally like get to encounter it, you battle it and catch it and then it's just gone. Like you throw it in your PC and you never see it again, or you use it to battle the Elite Four or whatever. Um, but I did really like how they did the legendaries in this game in the sense of, I mean, the designs were weird, how they tried to make them motorcycles, whatever, Italy, I guess. Um, but I did like how they made it so you played the game with your legendary at your side. And I like the fact that you didn't get to battle with it because that's something I know we had talked about on the last one when we were doing like we were talking about our speculation
Yeah.
and you had said if I remember correctly that it would be a smart idea to have it just there as a ride Pokemon but not able to use it in battle until the end of the game, which you were right on, and I think that was a great thing personally. I think that was a
Yeah, I caught one at the in the underground though. I have it.
there you go.
That way, every murder, I piss him off in the battle.
That's funny. Um, but yeah,
So
so
yeah,
yeah, and it
next topic. Do you have another topic to talk about? Because we've been talking about the same.
yeah,
Keep
yeah,
going back
yeah.
and forth.
No, there is a big one. So I just want to say as far as the legendaries go, and then we're gonna move on because this will be a nice segue into the next one. Um, I like how you can't battle with your legendary until like all the way at the end when it like comes out and you use it to fight against like the other, against the fucking robotic evil professor or whatever and the evil version of
Yeah.
your legendary. Like that was really cool to me because it made like the fact that you've had this legendary at your side since the literal beginning of the game and hadn't had a chance to use it in battle until all the way at the last minute at the end of the game. I thought that was really cool and really well done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like that.
So, but yeah, I think that pretty well wraps talking about the story aspect of the game. But that's a good segue. Speaking of Pokemon, that's a good segue into talking about the new Pokemon that we got in this game, right? So we got a total of, I think, like somewhere between 103, 105, 107 new Pokemon in this game, something like that. If you count the Paldean
I
forms.
can look it up if you want. I just have to.
Well, yeah, if you want, we don't need an exact number, but yeah. So that's so those are um, those are the new Pokemon we got, and so as you can probably imagine, I kind of have mixed feelings, and I'm sure you do too, about the new Pokemon in this generation because um, I think every generation in Pokemon, you get good ones, you get bad ones, you get cool ones, you get lame ones, you get great ones, you get stupid ones. Like, you get a lot
Oh
of.
no, I'm looking at the Pokedex.
Okay. So, Um, yeah, so I think we can go through. We don't have to go through everything, obviously. But if you want to just, we can go through. You can start us off if you want. If you want to just tell me some Pokemon that stand out to you, some of the new ones, as either like really good designs or really bad designs, and then tell
Well,
me
I did
why.
enjoy the fire starter. Because a lot of people complaining because most Pokemon that was on like the 2 feet, then it goes to standing up like a generic animal.
Yes, we did talk about that too last time. Yes, everything doesn't
I
need
think the
fists.
fire type look like it actually looked like an alligator or a crocodile. I think it's a crocodile, but
Yes,
it's on all four. It's not standing up like what is it? Not a ghetto like what is it? Uh, Gator.
yes,
People got
exactly.
pissed off because of that.
Yes. So I agree with you, and I know this is a good place to start because it's the starters. Um, so I agree with you that we talked about how not every Pokemon needs to have fists. So that's I agree with you 100%. Um, I like Skeledirge. I do like Meowscarada, the grass starter. I like that also.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I like how they're a little bit different. So like,
I just wish they had better stats.
well, the stats aren't bad. I mean, they're not
The
overpowered.
fire type has bad speed. It's like 254, and that's timid. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's got decent defenses, and I personally, I don't think that like there's no starter that's going to have amazing stats. Like every starter has usually relatively average stats historically. So,
I'm bringing back Infernape. That is the best stats ever.
well, you're not wrong there. But yeah, Infernape, absolutely. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't, generally speaking, I don't expect like a really overpowered Pokemon on a starter. So I'm not bothered about that. um, but yeah, I really like Skeledirge. I really like Meowscarada. Um, I really do not like Quackleval, and I think we said this when we didn't know the final stages of the starters what they were going to be. Um, I said it from the beginning. I said Sprigatito I like, Fuecoco I like, Quaxley I do not. And unfortunately, I was proven right because Quackleval is really stupid. I don't like it. It's like a sexy dancing duck, I guess. Like I don't know. I just okay. So this feeds to a greater point, two greater points that I want to make about the Pokemon designs. So number one, and I cannot stress this enough, if anybody who works for the Pokemon Company, if anybody who works for a company who works for the Pokemon Company, if anybody who knows anybody who works for the Pokemon Company is listening to this, please pass this message along to the Pokemon Company. Stop trying to make sexy Pokemon. Just stop. Please. Stop doing it. It's weird. It's creepy. It's stupid. It's unnecessary. We don't need sexy Pokemon. So just stop. God. Okay. So Quackleval, not a fan, even though competitively speaking, Quackleval is actually really good. I think so. I've seen, um,
Well,
but
I guess Monkey.
Moxie and Aqua Step is really good because it boosts the speed. Um, but yeah, but I mean
Base 50 or something like that.
the speed's not that bad. I don't think, but it's not great. But it's not bad. But
Like flame charge.
what's that?
It's like flame charge for but water.
Yeah, but so it's basically flame charge for a water type, which is but it works because then it could work alongside Moxie and it could be good. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I just as far as that Quackleval, I don't like it, and so the second big point about Pokemon designs that I want to make is why have the last few generations, why has the water starter been the worst one every time? And think about it.
They
So let's take a little trip down memory lane briefly, if you will. Now, think back to Generation 6. What were the starters? Greninja, and nobody fucking cares because Greninja was the only one that mattered, right? So,
and then two forms of it.
and yes, Ash Greninja,
Not
obviously. Battle Bond, we all know, remember that. But so obviously, and before anyone gets mad at me, yes, I do remember that it was Chestnut and Delphox in Generation 6 as the grass and fire starters respectively. But the point is nobody gives a shit about them because Greninja was the one of, if not the coolest water starter, one of, if not the coolest actual starters that Pokemon came out with, right? So it was almost like after that, they were like, oh, well, Greninja was so cool. Let's just not even try ever again to make a water starter cool. You know what I mean? Like, so follow me
But
with,
with Amber and the freaking Earth Fire starter fighting types, they actually listen to us.
yes, I agree with you there. I'm very happy that we didn't get another firefighting starter, 100%.
We just get another water fighting starter.
Well, we don't need that. We've had the dancing duck, and we don't need it again. So, but yeah. So follow me here. on the journey. So that was Generation 6, Water Starter, coolest thing ever. Generation 7, you have Decidueye, Grass Starter, awesome. Incineroar, Fire Starter, awesome, I think, in my opinion, anyway. Um, and Primarina, I mean, it's not bad. Like, Primarina is not a bad Pokemon, in my opinion. It's not, like, awful, but I think it's clearly not nearly as cool as the other two. I think that's a
Cool.
safe statement, relatively safe statement. It's not nearly as cool as the other two. That's Generation 7. Then you move up to Generation 8 and you have Cinderace, cool, you Fire Starter. You have Rillaboom, Grass Starter, cool, and you have
Aggressive blood is a bit better.
right, and you have Inteleon, Water Starter, not cool.
That
like
is hot garbage.
yeah, sexy lizard again, sexy lizard. It's like so
I don't want to feel down.
yeah. So and then in this generation again, you have Meowscarada, cool. You have Skeledirge, cool, and you have Quackleval, sucks. So it's like again, like last three generations, Water Starter has been clearly the inferior starter to the other two, and I will argue with anybody about this. So I truly believe so. Going forward, just again, Pokemon, you got to step it up with the water starters. Like you don't get a life pass on water starters just because Greninja was badass. You don't get a pass on water starters. You have to try to make these water starters as good as the other two, because the last several generations have not been up to snuff. Um, but yeah, so that covers that pretty well, I think. The starters,
Yeah.
anyway. Going to the legendaries, I guess that's the next logical place to go.
Do you want to talk about the runes Pokemon or the Pokemon you find on the ground? Or what do you want to aim for?
The box art, the Koraidon and Miraidon. We already
Okay.
we are
Well, I only used one of them. I didn't use the other one.
so I got Scarlet, so I got Koraidon. Um, it's cool. I like Koraidon. It's not. It's a little weird because, like I said, the fact that they make it have like tires on it is just for no reason. Like, and it doesn't even use the tires. That's the weird part. Like, it just runs, like a beast would. So like, and then like my girlfriend actually has Violet. And watching her play Violet and have Murade on, it actually uses the wheels, and that looks even weirder, to be honest with you. Um, so yeah, so it's a little strange that they're trying to make them motorcycles. The designs are not bad, but at the same time strange a little bit. I think Koraidon's better personally. I like Koraidon more, but I think they're both fine in their own right. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about the box art legendaries?
They look better than the other one, the old ones. They better. They actually put font in the legendaries. I wish the typings was better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care too much about that, to be honest with you, because I'm never going to use them. Like, the box art legendaries are always going to be Uber, so I'm not interested in really using them. So I don't really care.
Sword and Shield. Make the box legendary more broken than in.
Yeah, oh my God, that was disgusting the way what they did with that. The Zacian was like banned for movers, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, like base 170 attack, and then like gets more attack, and it's just like was your goal with creating that Pokemon that nothing could survive an attack from it? Like was that was your goal? Like really?
Piece it gains the +1 and then +2.
Yeah, like and then you swords dance. I
And
just
then
ugh,
a
it's
Bohemian Blade does but yeah, if from full HP, knock it into yellow
yeah.
from a resistance hit. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. That was definitely a really bad, really.
Wait, do you want to talk about the runes Pokemon?
Yeah, we'll talk about those. So
The
overall,
the Ting, what is it?
Ting
Ting
Lu.
Lu, she Chow. I don't know what this says.
So I'll take a stab here. So there's Ting Lu. That's the moose looking thing. So I'm good with that. I have no problem with that thing. Um,
That just looks stupid. It's a big ass head.
yeah, well, it's got the vessel on its head. So I'm all right with that. I don't have a
You keep the
problem.
middle and sticking on his head. And, oh, that looks good.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that. There's that thing. There's Chi Yu. That's the fish. Little bit of a lazy design, but it's not bad.
I'm just saying, they got really lazy. This is a goldfish, for God's sake.
Yes. So, but you know what?
And it's a
That's
fire dog. And not even a water type, it's a freaking flame fish.
yes, the flame fish, which is yeah. I'm kind of intrigued by Chiyu. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't hate it. Um,
Mm.
then we have Wu Chen. That's the one that doesn't that nobody cares about the snail looking thing. I'm not really a fan of that.
I
I
got, oh, it's grass dog. I have to get that. I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that thing to be honest with you. I like most people don't care about it. So, I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't care about it. Um, and then of course the premiere of all of them, save the best for last, is Chen Pao, that beautiful looking snow leopard, which I think is, in my opinion, not only the best legendary that we got out of this game, but I think probably one of, if not the best Pokemon period that we got out of this game.
The best, that is that is number one. Number two is Sheen. The goldfish because it's broken the BOD, and they both can help each other basically.
Yeah, so I mean, from a competitive standpoint, definitely they are broken.
The only way you can help yourself against them is having them on with underwear. That's it.
Exactly. Yes, that's the way you do it.
Because any Pokemon on the field get the defense cut, and the ability stays when it comes when it out. Doesn't matter if you switch out.
Yes,
Someone's dying.
yes, it is. So, yeah, I mean, from a competitive standpoint, sure, I agree with you. From a design standpoint, I'm when I talk about this with Chen Pao, especially, I'm talking from like an actual Pokemon design standpoint. Like, and so I really like the design of this thing. And yeah, so that's I guess that's all I got to say about that is I really like it. So,
You should know Wu Chan actually exists, so I have to make one.
what do you mean it exists?
I don't have it in my game, so I never heard of it
Okay, gotcha.
until now. Because I actually have both games, but I was saving Vine for the live stream, but I couldn't live stream because it open world, and I would need to know where I'm gonna be going.
Well, there's walkthroughs and guides and that kind of thing.
And probably most likely could use a different switch to hook it to a TV, and I can record from there, so hands free.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So it'd be a lot easier recording it from the TV because the TV is better quality than, well, my phone is battery probably better than my TV.
well,
Um,
I don't
and
know.
it's better than the Switch. The Switch quality is awful.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, I'm using OBS now, and that's working out pretty well for me. Um, but you need to hook that up to a computer.
Yeah.
But at
So what
any
else do you think about the iron and the other one's phones,
Yeah,
or
so
what do
we'll
you?
talk about the paradox Pokemon next, and then we can call out like any other specific ones that stand out to you. So, the paradox Pokemon, the past ones, I think, all the. So I will say this couple things. Um, to me, the paradox Pokemon are all kind of weird, which I get they're supposed to be weird. That's kind of the gimmick, like kind of like the Ultra Beasts. They're supposed to be weird. Um, but I feel like the one thing that annoys me that I have to say is it annoys me with the paradox Pokemon how it's a separate thing. Like you have it should just be an alternate form of the same thing, but they count it as a different Pokemon to like artificially boost the Pokédex number, and that's annoying. I don't like that. And they did the same thing. They did the same thing with um, Toadscruel, and Wiglet and Wugtrio. It's like just call it Paldean Dugtrio. Just call it Paldean Tentacruel. Like, why do you have to make it it's not an entirely new Pokemon. It is a regional variant. We've been down this road before. Like that bothers me. Like it's an annoyance. It might be a small thing, but it's an annoyance to me. And it's annoying that they actually do have count them, two Paldean forms. They have Paldean Wooper and they have Paldean Tauros. And that's it. Like, and then everything else they decided it was.
Many different, well, water one. There's a fire one, bro. How many tours you need to make in one game? Jeez.
There are a lot of Tauros. Yeah, there's a fire one, a water one, and just a pure fighting one. um, but my thing is like, I don't understand like why, like, I don't understand the logic behind make calling these different Pokemon when it's literally just a regional variant. Like that's the thing that annoys me.
Get
It's
why they what is it?
it was like
Magneton, but Sandy Cheeks. What the F is that?
Sandy yeah, Sandy Shocks.
Like,
Um
that's lame.
yeah,
They couldn't give a better name than that.
well, that's what I'm saying is like they should just call it Paldean Magneton, you know? Like what's hard about that? Or like just call it like, whatever, like just call it a Paldean form. Like you know what I think it is, to be honest with you? I think it was like they were looking at the Pokédex and they were like, "Oh, well, we want to beef up the Pokédex number. We want to like increase the number of quote unquote new Pokemon we brought in this generation. So instead of calling it like Paldean Magneton, we're going to call it Sandy Shocks instead, which, don't get me wrong, it's a good Pokemon, and I don't even hate the design. I actually am a little bit fond of the design, to be honest, but, like,
Alright.
but, but calling it a different Pokemon when it's just a regional variant is stupid. And, like, I understand, like, oh, well, it's with the story, it's past form, future form with the other ones, like Iron Hands and whatnot, but, like, it's
Manny,
at the end of the
here we go.
yeah, it's just Paldean Hariyama. That's what it should be. Like they like give us consistency, Like that's what is annoying to me right now is that. But as far as the designs go, like I don't know. I think one the designs that stand out to me for the Paradox Pokemon as really good are the Great Tusk. I think the Great Tusk is a really good design. Um, Iron Moth, I think, is a really good, even though it's not all that different from Volcarona. I
The
think
type of the using is fire and poison.
Fire Poison, which is good. Yeah, it's a Salazzle 2.0, which is in the game, ironically.
Since it's a paradox Pokemon, I wish that it gets Quiver Dance, but you have the one agility.
Yeah, it sucks that it doesn't get Quiver Dance. That's for sure. But yeah, those are I like those two, and I like Iron Valiant.
Slithering.
What's that?
Slithering.
Slitherwing, I could take that or leave that. I'm not, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I do like Iron Valiant a lot. I think that's a cool one, even though it's kind of looks like a strange.
Like it.
It looks like a strange mashup of Gardevoir and Gallade, like which is whatever, but I do like
Right.
it. I think it's cool. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really hate any of them per se. I mean, I kind of don't like. I don't know. I don't really hate any of the paradox forms per se. I mean, some of them like I guess yeah, Iron Thorns, the which should just be a Paldean Tyranitar. Um, I don't
A
really
lot of
like.
people think that the regular Chinatown is better than the Iron Funds.
Oh yeah. The Iron Thorns is it's definitely worse, but also it's like I don't know.
The Fire Bungo got banned. It got broken. They
Yes,
couldn't design. Damn, they kick it to the curb.
right. Um, Iron Jugulus is like I don't really like that too much, but it is what it is. Iron
No,
Treads.
man. Flying Dog is just a ripoff of the other Flying Dog we had.
Yeah, it's literally just there just should be Paldean forms. That's just the thing that annoys me about it. Iron Treads I think is worse than
That they swap almost typing to a dot warming moon
Roar,
and
Iron
what
Jugulus.
is it? Yes, so because Salamence used to be a dragon flying, now this is a dog flying.
Yeah,
Then the warming moon is basically a dragon dog. What they still Hydra guns?
yeah. They just shuffled the typings around, which is weird. Yeah. So overall, like I wouldn't say that I really hate any of the paradox forms. I just think that they should just be classified as regional variants, not as new Pokemon, because they're not really new Pokemon per se. Um, but and
All right.
there are some of them I like more than others, but yeah, I mean that's probably all I got to say about that. Um, as far as the main Pokédex goes, I don't know. Is there anything else in the main Pokédex aside from like starters and legendaries? Is there anything in the main Pokédex?
I like the Pokedex. I don't like Screamtail. It's just stupid.
Fair enough. Um, but is but in the main Pokédex, is there anything that really stands out to you that you really like or really dislike? Anything?
Did you enjoy that Bishop finally evolves?
Yeah, yeah. I what's it called? King Gambit. King Gambit's an interesting one. Very powerful. So can't complain about that. It does look very powerful and is very powerful. So I kind of like of everything that's in the Pokédex, aside from what we've discussed already. Um, there's a few that I like actually. I like Palafin a lot actually. Like the Superman dolphin. I like that thing. That's what it is. A Superman dolphin. His
Yeah.
ability is unique. I like it. Um, I like I actually like Reverum quite a bit, even though I know Reverum doesn't get a lot of love, and it's got a really stupid name. I get it. It's a car, and it's Reverum, but um, it's stupid as hell. The name is stupid as hell.
It's cool, but a lazy design.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that lazy. I mean, it's a car. Like it's. I think it's. I actually like it in the sense that um,
Feel that movie has levitate. No,
I
it doesn't have levitate.
no, it doesn't have levitate. But even
What?
no, it doesn't have levitate, even though it looks like it's floating in the air when you use it. Um, but I actually do like it. I think it's a pretty good design. I like it's a first ever poison steel type, which is a pretty strong type combination, even though its stats are it's okay, but they're not awful. Um, but I do kind of like it. Um, let's see here. Um, I like Kilowattrel actually. That's another one that I like. Even though it's a relatively basic design. It's an electric pheasant type thing, but I do like that. That design. I like Garganackle. That's another design I like. Glamora is another one I like. Um, I do like
Oh, I sweat somebody with Granola.
what's oh you swept them.
Yes, they bought Stalin. I bought a max defense, max HP Granola just to set out hazards.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's really good for that. Um, so I like. I do actually like Dockspun. It's kind of a basic Pokemon, but I kind of like that too. Um,
We're gonna wrap this up, B-Nard.
Yep, we'll be done soon. So, any Pokemon, and I guess the last thing is, or two more things. Second to last thing, any Pokemon you dislike in particular
Hold on, I'm looking up.
in the decks.
I didn't like when you have to freaking evolve the treasure chest by collecting coins.
Oh, that was annoying as hell. I'd say for me, I didn't like Squawkabilly. I think that thing's kind of stupid. Um, I didn't like what, and this might be a controversial statement, but I really didn't like Scorvillain, the first ever grass fire type Pokemon. I think that thing's stupid. Um,
Little stats on that. It's just bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sees some play. I don't think it's bad competitively. I just don't like the design. I just think it's really, and it's the first ever fire grass type Pokemon, which is disappointing that I think it looks so stupid. Because I feel like at this point in time, we've gotten there are very few type combinations that are unused, right? So I feel like if you're gonna use one, you can't make it something stupid like this. So I'm disappointed in that. And then Bellabolt, I don't like that thing. I think it's stupid, but I think I that was one.
Better electric type. Like they tried to replace Pikachu. I highly
Yeah,
doubt that.
yeah. Well, every game has its own version, but yeah, I think that's as far as the new Pokemon goes. I think that's about it. Those are the ones that really stand out. So, like we said, there's good ones, there's bad ones, there's everything in between with the Pokédex, and I don't hold that against this game. Um,
What I don't get is why doesn't the what is it, the two head, the grass fire type get red ball?
yeah, I don't know. I don't like that thing at all. So I don't know why it doesn't why it doesn't get that. That would make sense, um, but yeah, so the other thing, so last things are, if I were to, I would say, looking toward the future. That's a big thing that we want to touch on briefly before we go here. Um,
Okay.
so obviously this game is pretty new right now. It's only been out a little over a month at this point, maybe 5 weeks by the time this podcast airs. So so I'd say maybe 6 weeks. So I would say. in the future, I'm really 100% expecting DLC, and I know we had touched on this earlier, but I'm 100% expecting DLC for this game. I think you are too, as well. Is that right?
Yeah, because I wish they bring back like a better battling system.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even really talk about that, the competitive scene. But yeah, I guess the only thing I want, it's really too early to speculate on like no like new games, but I think
Do we know the video if the DLC actually comes out or not?
yeah, we'll
But
probably if we do get DLC, then we'll definitely talk about it in the future. But yeah, I mean, I think DLC is an obvious and smart play to make on their part because I think it worked out well in Sword and Shield, despite that there wasn't a lot of substance to that DLC. I still think it was a good idea, and I think if they do DLC again, I think it would be a good idea. They just need to put more.
this thing, if they give us more than one, it's not $30 because if they Nintendo themselves offering refund really talked about that.
Yeah.
They should not charge us a fortune for a DLC.
I agree with you. Yeah, they should make the DLC should be rich in quantity and quality, and it shouldn't cost a lot. So it should be more. It should be cheaper than the Sword and Shield DLC, and it should have more to it than the Sword and Shield DLC, and then I'll be happy with it. So I think that would be good. Like if they just put if they pump the brakes on pumping out new Pokemon games and just gave us a DLC for the next year, I'm cool with that because, like I said, we're very new in Sword and Shield right now, so there's a lot of life I think in the games to be had. So, um, but yeah, I'm hoping maybe at some point in like January or February we'll get an announcement about DLC. That's
Yeah,
around the time that they announced it for Sword and Shield, respectively. So, but yeah, I think that would be a really good idea, and I just hope that they make it better and more worth it than the Sword and Shield DLC. Um,
true.
but yeah, so as far as the one thing we didn't mention, which is kind of ironic, is the competitive battling scene. So, unfortunately, as you know at this point, we still are stuck with the 20-minute timer, which sucks. Don't get me wrong.
At least they make moves go faster.
Yeah, so there's two things that they did in this generation that make the 20-minute timer not suck as much. So the first thing is, as you just mentioned, they tightened up all the in-game mechanics to the point where moves take less time, health bars go down quicker, there's less of a delay for everything, like in game, which is a big plus. But the other thing is they with the new Pokemon in this generation, they it looks like they really incentivized aggressive playing and paced games. Like they incentivized you with like you could just tell by looking at the base stats of Pokemon this generation, like they're incentivizing aggressive play, right? Like that's pretty obvious. Um,
That's good.
yeah, so that is good. That combined with the mechanics being tightened up and quicker, make the 20-minute timer not suck quite as much, which is nice. So, but yeah, I still think we need like 25 minutes. I mean, come on, like there's
Oh, 25 or 30 is probably the best.
yeah, yeah. I think there's no reason why they couldn't just do that for us. So, it is what it is. We're stuck, and that sucks. But at least it doesn't suck as bad as Sword and Shield and
But
BDSP.
they didn't give me voices recorded. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to come back. It would be nice, but not
It's
expecting
too
it.
much information for them to add, but they can add a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, um, but yeah, I mean, that's that. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. I've been doing a little bit of competitive battling so far, and I do like it. I find the timer is less of an issue this game than it was the last two games, which is good. So hopefully, I mean, I'm sure that'll change, but I'm hoping that it remains not too much of an issue. Um, so last thing, overall, how would you rank? How would you rate this game if you were giving this game a letter grade? All things considered, everything we talked about and everything we didn't talk about. All things considered, how do you like this game, Joey? How would you rate it? Letter grade.
I'll probably give it a 6 out of 10 just because some of the Pokemon look cool, some of them just look stupid, lazy. Even the Spinies look lazy.
Yeah.
The graphics are very very bad, so it cannot get more than six, or most likely a five or six. Me, in my opinion.
Well, I did say letter, not number, but that's okay. So that's fine. You're talking about mouse hold, right?
Yeah, five or six. What is your out of 10? What is your rating?
So my rating, I have to give it two separate ratings to be honest with you. I'm going to give the design of the game one rating and the execution another. So in design, I actually rate this game a 9 out of 10 in design because I think that it was really good. Like the idea, the concept of the open world going back to where we started was incredible. Um, so I give the idea of this game a 9 out of 10. The design, I give the execution of this game in practice, I give it probably a 5, I would say. So that averages at, because there's the graphic glitches are
Being
on
honest, I lost I ran out of space on my tablet, so you have. I just gonna I'm gonna edit the screen to ask them to go see you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool, dude. Um, but yeah, I would say in design, I give the game a 9. In execution, I give it a 5. So you know what? I'll be a little more generous. I'll say in design, I give it a 9. In execution, I give it a 6. So that averages out to 7.5. So I would give this, I would, if I was giving it a letter grade, I'd probably give it a little higher. I'd probably give it like a solid B. Because what I was going to say is I give it in design, I give it like an A minus. In execution, I give it like a C plus. So that averages
Yeah.
out to like a solid B for me. So that's kind of where I would put it. So it because the design, well, it's not perfect, and there are some lazy concepts in the game. There are some bad story components. There are some bad characters. So the design of the game is not perfect, but it is really good. The execution with like the graphic glitches and like all the other things we talked about, just you know, um, it is what it is. But yeah, I'd give this game overall. If I was giving it a letter grade, I'd give it a solid B. Um, if I was giving it a number grade, I'd probably give it like 7.5 or 8, just based on that. But yeah, I will say, I am having fun with the game. I'm still having fun with it, playing through it in the post game and grinding to get those competitive Pokemon up and running. But yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to play the game and enjoy it. And I hope you are too. so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that'll about do it. Do you have anything else you want to add, Joey, or you think you're all Pokemoned out for one day?
Give me a sec, please.
Sure. What are you doing?
I want to add my opinion to the video. I'm going to look in my trash and delete all of it. I just delete a video that like 25 minutes.
I gotcha. You got too much stuff saved on your phone, man.
What?
You got too much stuff saved on there.
This is my tablet. I don't use it.
I gotcha. Too much stuff though.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah.
About you 29 minutes and 38 seconds.
How much time did you buy yourself?
B-Nard,
What'd you say? How much time did you buy yourself?
pardon me?
I said, how much time did you get yourself with that?
29 minutes and 38 minutes.
Seconds, 29 minutes, 38 seconds. Gotcha. Yeah, well, you won't need that because I think we're good here. Yeah, I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, but that's pretty much mine. Is the design was incredible. I think the execution was lukewarm at best, just because of all the bugs.
Do you mind repeating it because it was off the camera? Do you mind repeating your numbers, like the rating in that?
No, that's fine. Go for it. Yeah.
So,
So,
well, you
oh, you
give
want me to
five.
say it again? Sure, sure, sure. So, I would say in design, I would give it a 9 out of 10. In execution, I would give it probably like a 6 to 7 out of 10. So in practice, I would give it probably like a 7.5 to an 8, like total. So I would give it a solid B. Overall, all things considered for the game, I would give it a solid B because it is a fun game. It's an enjoyable game. Um, it has problems. It has glitches that it shouldn't have. Um, it has storyline problems a little bit with some of it. and other problems that we discussed obviously in depth here. But it is still, I think it's still a good game. It's still worth playing. Um, and yeah, I guess and I'm looking forward to continuing to play it. I guess that's all I really got to say about that.
Me too.
So,
So yeah, do you want to do your closing?
yep, we're done here. So yeah, I'm gonna close this out. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new videos in the future. I want to thank my guest, Joey Fontaine, for joining me to talk about the new Pokemon games here. So thank you, Joey.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem. You got it. So. Yeah, and stay tuned for more new Wi-Fi battles. Going to be pushing the content out and continuing to play some Scarlet and Violet. So yeah,
Me too.
yes, we will be seeing you, and we'll be seeing you on the battlefield, Joey. Definitely. It's
I hope you're ready to bring your A game.
some point in the near future. Yes, we will be seeing you on the battlefield. So stay tuned for that. And that's it. And we'll see you next time.
See you.